all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge Al-Akyam, who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is Shabai from the GMS Denver camp. And I'm going to go ahead and read, do a quick hitter. In Baruch, the 5th chapter. And this is my image here that I created on ChatGPT. I just said Baruch in captivity. All right. Because, unto this day, we're still here in our captivity. All right. A lot of you Israelites, you might not believe that, but we are in slavery, man. You're going to have a lot of us prophets. We're going to be put in prisons, in dungeons, in jails, in concentration camps. Okay. So anyway, just wanted to speak a little bit on the image. So anyway, I'm going to read Baruch, the 5th chapter. And it says, put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High forever. All right, so right now we're wearing those garments of mourning and affliction, and the elect are, because the Israelites who are not in the right mindset, they don't believe that we're in captivity. They don't believe that we're in slavery. They don't believe we're being oppressed. Okay. They're not mourning. They're not. They feel like they're not being afflicted because they get to go to a 9 to 5 every day and they get the weekends off. You see, but that's not what it is. Okay, we're supposed to. This is not our rest, as it tells you in Micah. Okay. So it says, "Put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High forever," and the comeliness is putting on this truth, putting on the garment of this ministry, this truth, understanding the truth. See, it says, cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness which cometh from the Most High, and set a diadem on thine head of the glory of the everlasting. Right, because the elect are going to get a great reward, right? Starting out with the 144,000 prophets, a diadem is another word for a crown, right? Let me grab that. So this is what it is, man. We're in a different mindset. Okay. First of all, we know we're in captivity, and second of all, we know that there's a better thing coming. Okay, and it's not this place. It's not being in slavery. It's not being oppressed under your enemies, you see? And don't get it twisted. These Edomites are our enemies. All right? And a diadem, it signifies royalty, authority, divine splendor, okay? Do we have that on this side? No, we don't. We don't have royalty. The Israelites we're not the kings here in Babylon. The daughter of Babylon, aka America. Let's keep reading. For the Most High will show thy brightness unto every country under heaven. And the brightness is the light. It represents the light. The light represents the knowledge, the truth. Okay? And the Most High is showing his elect the brightness. He's showing the elect his truth. We're having a spirit of understanding on us, right? We have a spirit of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai on us, right? Let's get this precept real quick. Let me just pull it. John 8:32 KJV. It says, John 8:32. It says, And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So you see this picture of Baruch. He's like in a it looks like a dungeon or a jail, right? And really the jail is America, Babylon, America. This is a spiritual prison, okay? But the truth is what makes us free, okay? It frees your mind. Because even though Baruch right here is he's locked up in this picture, in his mind he's free, you know? Because why? Because he knows the truth. See, he has the scroll in his hand. See? And that's how we are, the men of the Lord. Even though we're in this spiritual prison, and the Bible, by the way, it calls us prisoners of hope. You know, we're actually free. All these other people around us that have no understanding, no knowledge, no reverence for the truth, they're still in captivity, locked spiritually and mentally. You know, yeah, physically, yeah, we are in captivity, but spiritually and mentally, we're free birds, man. You know? Because why? Because we know the truth. We know what's coming. We know that we're going to have those diadems, those crowns on our heads. Okay? It says here, and by the way, it says, for the Most High will show thy brightness unto every country under heaven. That's because we're scattered in all countries and nations. And we, you know, the Most High showing this light in every nation, every country. You have brothers prophesying all over the planet Earth. Everywhere we've been driven, everywhere we've been scattered. For thy name shall be called the Most High forever, the peace of righteousness, the glory of the Most High's worship. And the name is Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Those are the names that we glorify and that we worship. And it's because this knowledge that that has been bestowed upon us. Okay? Causing us to be free in our minds and free spiritually. It says, arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look toward the east, and behold the children gathered from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in a remembrance of Yahweh. All right? Because we're brought back into our right mindset. Okay? And we're being gathered by this word, it tells you. From the west to the east, the north to the south, the west to all four corners of the world. The prophets are the vessels that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua are using to gather our people spiritually. And then it's going to be a physical gathering where our enemies are going to behold us. They're going to look at us. They're going to watch us receive salvation, which that means going up in what you call a UFO, a chariot, during a time of destruction. Okay? And it says here, rejoicing in the remembrance of the Most High Yahweh. All right, so for you to remember something, it means you had to know it before. There's a thing called reincarnation in the Bible, and you see this picture of, it's a depiction of Baruch, the prophet. Okay? And I just said Baruch because that's what chapter I'm reading here, Baruch 5. So I just asked ChatGPT, give me a picture of Baruch in captivity. That's all I said in a Hebrew Israelite form. Because if you don't say Hebrew Israelite form, they're gonna give you that iconoclasm. They're gonna give you that Renaissance art. They're gonna make the picture an image of an Edomite, right? So I said Hebrew Israelite form. And this is the image that it created here. I like to make images with this chat GPT. It's pretty dope. I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, to be in remembrance, it means you knew it before, right? because we knew the truth. We knew the Lord's names. We knew the Yahweh Shai. We knew His name. But now we're being put in remembrance. Remember, the Bible is a book of remembrance. Let's get that in. I think it's Malachi 3. Let's see. Malachi 3. It says, okay, Malachi 3:16, it says, they that feared Yahweh spake often one to another, and the Lord Yahweh hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared Yahweh and that thought upon his name. So the remembrance, the ones that are coming into remembrance are the elect. We're speaking often one to another on these modern day epistles, these videos, these lessons. All right, and Yahweh he's hearing us. He sees what's happening. It's of him, first of all, but second of all, he's witnessing from the heavens. He's seeing his children wake up. You see. And it says, a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared Yahweh, that brought upon his name. And remember, the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. So those of us that actually fear Yahweh, you can't just, I love the Lord. I love the Lord. That's those Christians. That's what they say. But the true men and women of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua are going to have fear of the Most High. Okay? Because when you have fear of something, it's a different type of motivation. All right, it's a different thing that's going to motivate you to be better, motivate you to walk in the light, motivate you to learn the ways of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and to keep them to the best of your ability. You see. But this is a time of us coming into remembrance, meaning we've known it before. Okay, let me see if I can. Let me get that word real quick. Remembrance. Okay, remembrance means the action of remembering something, a memory or a recollection. You see that? If you recollect something, it means you recall it. Meaning, okay, I remember this now, right? And that's what the Most High is doing through the Holy Spirit. He's putting us in remembrance, okay? And it proves that, the phone chimed on that. But to prove that, I'm going to go to, let's see, it's Jude. I think it's Jude. Jude 1 and verse 5, it reads, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how that Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believed not. And that's going to happen this time too. You're going to have the ones who don't come into remembrance, the wicked portion of our people, the 2/3. They don't want to, hearken unto the truth. They don't want to listen to the mouth of Yahweh, his prophets. They disregard, the ministry. They disregard the truth. They reject knowledge. They're going to be destroyed because why? Because of their lack of faith, because of their lack of belief. You see? They're going to be put in these prisons too, but guess what? They're going to suffer. They have no comforter. All right? They don't come into remembrance. The Lord has created their spirits of reprobates, right? Meaning they're not worthy of the kingdom right now. Okay? So let's go back to Baruch. We'll start finishing off this chapter here. It says, let me see which. Verse 6, it says, I'll read verse 5. Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look toward the east, and behold, thy children gathered from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of the Most High. Right? And we're being gathered by this knowledge, this truth. For they departed from thee on foot, and were led away of their enemies, but the Most High bringeth them unto thee exalted with glory as sons of the kingdom. Right? We went in every direction, right? We were being persecuted in every captivity. Even to this day, we're being persecuted. We went all these different directions with the, being in subjection to our enemies, the heathen. They were persecuting us. They were putting us to death. All these different captivities. We were led away. It says here. It says, but the Most High is going to exalt us with glory. And what's it going to take? It's going to take hearkening to this truth, hearkening to the true doctrine, to the true ministry. You can't be a Catholic and think you're going to be receiving salvation. You're in the mindset of a Catholic, right? Or you're in the mindset of a pagan Christian. Israelites who are in those type of mindsets, you're in cahoots, you're in agreement, you're in a covenant. You made a covenant with the heathen. Those type of Israelites are not going up in a chariot. You have to have the right mindset, have the right garment on, right? And the garment of righteousness deals with knowing that you're a Hebrew Israelite and knowing that your people, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are the children of the Most High, the children of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? And you don't want to give your glory to another. It tells you that. Let me grab that. I think it's in the chapter right before this. It's either chapter 3 or 2. Or 4. Let me see. I was just reading it. Let me see. Bear with me here. Let me see. Maybe it's 4. Oh yeah. This is Baruch 4:3. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. All right, so you're not supposed to include the heathen in this salvation. This is our glory. When we go up in the chariot, we're going to be glorified with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So you're not supposed to, like those dudes from Genesis. They're telling you that, the heathen Gentiles can receive salvation. And that's not true. In that, when they say that and do that, they're giving the honor and the glory to a strange nation, to another. You're not supposed to do that. All right. And for them teaching that false doctrine, there's also, there's also a consequence and a penalty and a punishment for those false prophets. Okay. Let me see. I'm almost done here. Read the last couple verses in Baruch 5. It says, for the Most High had appointed that every high hill and banks of long continuance should be cast down, and the valleys filled up, to make even the ground that Israel may go safely in the glory of the Most High. Moreover, even the woods and every sweet-smelling tree shall overshadow Israel by the commandment of the Most High. So when we come into our glory, everything's going to be in unison. Everything's going to be in harmony. Even the trees are going to be a protection for us. Okay? It says, for the Most High shall lead Israel with joy in the light of his glory, with the mercy and the righteousness that cometh from him. All right? And that's what it is. The glory, leading us in the joy and the light. Remember, the light represents the understanding, represents the knowledge. So that's what that's how we're being led, because we're walking in the light. Okay? The elect are going to walk in the light. They're going to walk in the truth. They're not going to be calling on false names, false idols. They're not going to be, mingling with the heathen in false doctrines. They're not going to be acting like heathen. you know. And it says, and of his glory with the mercy of righteousness that cometh from him. And that mercy, you know, that's what we're in right now. We're in a time of mercy. Let me grab this, because for us to remember this truth is it's literally Yahweh Bashem Yoshai having mercy on us. Okay. And let me go to John 14:26, because this is dealing with mercy, for us to remember the truth, for us to remember who we are. Okay, no, what is it? So John, let me see. Let's see. The Comforter will bring us into remembrance of all things, KJV. That's what I went to. That's weird. Okay, John 14:26. And I'll close out on this verse. It says, but the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you. Okay? So we're remembering, we're in a time of remembrance, because we once knew this. Remember, we once knew this. But Yahweh Bashem Yashai, through his mercy, is giving us, you know, this remembrance of the truth, the remembrance of who we are. Okay? Let's see. And bringing all things to remembrance, including the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, including the true doctrine. It's, you know, starting out with the elders of GMS, they've given us the truth. They've given us the remembrance. The Most High used those men, the elders of GMS, to put us in our right mindset. Okay, and it started out with Elder Abba Bivens. All right, then you had the you know, the men who were they were the proteges, the understudies of Elder Abba Bivens, who were the elders of our current elders. Okay, bringing us into remembrance, and that's why we give our honor, and that's why we give our elders double honors. Okay, let's get that verse real quick, and I'll close out on that. That's why we say that in the beginning, you know, and we close out our lessons with giving double honors to those men, because they're worthy. This is 1 Timothy 5:17. It says, let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. See that? That's 1 Timothy 5:17. All right. Our elders are worthy of double honor. Okay. And why? Because the Most High has set them up to teach us, to you know, put us in the right spirit. Okay. And that's you know, our elders are, that's Yahweh Bashem Yoshai having mercy on the nation of Israel by giving us these great men who have been inspired by the Holy Spirit. You see? All right, so with that, you know, I hope the lesson was edifying, but I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.